1977 Massey Ferguson 1105, Krone 2801cv, impeller, tine, conditioner, disc mower. Well, I'm back on the farm, and I thought I wasn't going to cut the west field. I just cut the low ground here this morning, but we're here in the evening, and I just changed my mind. I cut a little path through it to get to the low ground, and I was looking at it when I came out, and it's really thin, so I thought, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that and this evening. But they were calling for some rain, chance of thunderstorms, I don't know, but we got a little bit of drizzle here. You can see the tip of my boot, maybe. It's not much. It's not hardly as much weather as the dew would put down. Of course, the rain gauge has a drop in it. So, you know, my Krone mower conditioner, I believe you could mow hay in the snow if it would grow. So I'm going to plow ahead and cut that west field and just go ahead and get it down, and that'll give us a chance to get on with second cutting later. Alright, you can kind of see where I made my path down in here, and then my first pass around right there. And as I move to the interior of the field, it looks like the undergrowth is a little better. One thing that surprises me is there's much more timothy showing than what I expected. And it's you know, it's early for timothy yet. It's putting the seed head up, but it's not very tall or, you know, very long, the seed head. The most offending thing is, you know, some of the tops are starting to turn, and then there's this velvet grasses in here. But you know, I'll have all that baled up and off the field, and we can have a fresh start for second cut. This is a good field. It won't take long. When I was working, this was a great field to come after work, and it's about 6 o'clock right now, and won't take long at all. I'm in low range third gear multi-power high, just like I was down in that low ground. Slowing it down just a little bit, but I'll probably kick it up here before too long. But I'm actually seeing a fair amount of timothy in here, which is encouraging. You know, this grass might turn out to be pretty decent. This is such a fine combination, this Massey 1105 and the Krone 2801cv. These 1105, 1135 Massey Fergusons were tremendous tractors in my opinion. They did themselves no favors when they came out with the 2000 series. Tractors. They had some of the trouble with the power shifts on them. I think there were electrical issues and things like that. Knock on wood, this is just a simple tractor with good horsepower from the 70s. It's a 1977 model. And I like all the tractors from that era. I like the, you know, the Ford, the International, John Deere, JI case. Those are some golden years for farming before the farm prices hit at 79 and into the 80s. This is the spot right there. I'll just go ahead and clip that. I'd hate for a satellite to pick that up and I get a black mark. Anyway, I'll come back. Alright, I've picked up the pace a little bit. I got it in high range first gear, running in multi-power high on the straights, and when I get to the corners and to the end of the field back there, when I come into the turns, I knock it down to multi-power low. Some people say you're not supposed to do that. You should leave it in multi-power high or multi-power high and don't shift. It wears them out, but that's not true. The international TA and the multi-power on these Massey Fergusons, you can shift them a bazillion times, and it doesn't cause any problems. You know that the notion that you can't use an international TA or a Massey Ferguson multi-power in and out of low and high, they used to call those things, you know, things like that old wives' tale. And now it's like an internet rumor. So I wouldn't pin the TA high and low, multi-power high low use on anybody's wife. But the Krone's cutting clean. It's not pulling my tractor down even with a little dampness on it. And like I said in earlier videos, I'm going about 7 miles an hour here in high range, first gear, multi-power high. And if I go any faster, and I can get a clean cut, I just can't sit in the seats. It gets too bumpy. But if you want to get on and off of the field, this is a nice combo, 9-foot cut, and you know, you'd never run a haybine, a sickle haybine, in wet ground like this. This is the advantage of the disc mower conditioner. Those machines are effective, and I mean, I use my Heston. I even used it last year some, and I'm not so sure I'm not going to use it up on the hill some just because I want to. But, and that Heston's pretty tolerant of some moisture in the hay, but even with that, you're not going to go 7 miles an hour, even when the hay's dry. That's a 7-foot mower, and this one's a 9-foot. So between the increase in speed and the increase in width, we literally cut our cutting time in half. What used to take 2 hours or 4 hours is now 2 hours and 1 hour. Pretty amazing. You can see the sun is setting and the shadows starting to fall across the field. What I'm seeing out here laying on the ground, it doesn't look too bad. I know this brown looking seat head is going to show in the bale, but when I look down, it's one thing to stand on the side of a hayfield and look it over, but when you look down from this tractor, it doesn't look too bad down in there. There's a lot of undergrowth and certainly a lot of timothy in it, more so than I expected. And so I might have a pretty good field of hay here. I'm glad I'm cutting it. We got 3 days allegedly of full sun coming, and I'm hoping that it'll give us plenty of time to get the hay up. The second half of that east field, I was able to cut it and bale it at anywhere from 10 to 14% moisture in 2 days. Some of that is the mower conditioner, and some of it is just so thin. But this is going to turn off a little bit of hay, I think. I'm pleasantly surprised. As I look in this field, I'm seeing minimal weed pressure. I'm not seeing lamb quarters coming in. I'll see a milkweed from here and there. And other than this velvet grass, it looks pretty good. We don't spray with residuals on this farm, so it's not like there's some chemical in here that's lingering from year to year. I think the drought had a detrimental effect on the weeds, and that's strange because the weeds seem to grow when everything else won't. Which begs the question, you know, how come the seed companies and the universities aren't studying weed genetics in order to make grass that you can plant that'll last forever? We get a little wind, and it is blowing. This should dry out pretty quick. What we got here is something a little bit less than dew on this grass. Even my tires are starting to dry off over there if I look at that one. Knock on wood, I'm trying to keep an eye out for fawns bedded down. The deer are just having their baby fawns right and left up and down the road. You can see them. You won't see the fawn, you'll see driving down the road, you'll see a doe way out in the field. Looks like it's standing over a fawn. And definitely don't want to run one of those things through my Krone. I'm glad I'm cutting this hay. I thought I was going to wait, but we got a good 3-day window to bale this up, and then it looks like it's going to be thunderstorms 4 or 5 days, and I didn't want it to go crazy past mature. But I'm liking what I'm seeing, and I'm going to be pulling core samples out of the bales. And the things I used to do a lot, kind of got away from, but I'm going back to it, is having my hay analyzed by Analytical. And it really helps with selling the hay if you know what it is, and you can show that to the customer. But I'm going to do it on this field is with all this crap right in here. I think it's going to come out pretty good. Our primary customer is a horse customer, and our hay typically, historically, has been low sugar hay. These horses have metabolic issues, and there's a number ESC, ethanol soluble carbohydrates. I may be saying that wrong, but that and starch combined, if it's less than 10%, is suitable to feed these horses with these metabolic issues and Cushing and laminitis, that kind of thing. And our hay has always been right where it needs to be to sell to those customers. And back in the glory days, we had people coming from long ways off, you know, several hundred miles for hay. I'd like to return to that to the extent I can. You know, the money's better on the bale of hay, the better quality is, but also the majority of my hay customers are pretty good, but some of these people are special to buy hay, and I'll just leave it at that. I overseeded all of the fields below the road, except around my barn, with Timothy last year. And or last winter, sometime or another. Old seed, it was just bags I had left over, partial bags and things like that. I wasn't sure if it was going to germinate, but it makes me wonder if that's what I'm seeing in here, because it feels like I'm seeing more Timothy than I have in the past. Alright, so I finished this field, and I still got to do that plateau up there. I'll go up there and finish that off, but it won't be on this video. But I don't know, man. I think that's some nice looking grass. And the Krone did a nice job, made a clean cut. And you know, my hood is not covered up with seeds. I've had that happen before, where I get cutting so late in June, and it's like a combine. But what I got here are blooms, and they're probably coming off that velvet grass. They're definitely not coming off of the Timothy, because the heads on the Timothy are only about that big. And that'll help the analysis on this hay as far as you know, the quality of the hay. So you can see I got a high stubble here. 5 inches is where I'm at, and just a quick look-see inside the Krone, a disc mower bed, and then it's got these hook tine tedder tines. And there's that black is a tread plate, and it throws the grass up against it. Those tines are about 1 inch off that tread plate. Some people put them, you know, almost right up against it, but that's where I've had it set ever since I bought the mower, and I get tremendous dry down. And you won't see crimps and things like that, like a roller machine, but believe me, wax that's on the stem has been scuffed and roughed, and you got a way for the moisture to escape. So the rain kind of came and went, and I think from here on, the next several days is going to be I think 3 days, the weather guessers are saying, sunny skies, but the temperatures are going to get up into the upper 80s, and I think over in the big city it might be like 90 degrees, maybe 91 or 92 degrees, but I guess there's not enough concrete around here to elevate the temperature from the sun. But anyway, this is probably the last of the first cut. So I've got some fields up on the hill. I'm pretty sure, I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to clip those, and I'm going to deal with this down here below the road, and then around my barn I've got the teff grass that's coming in, and I need to give this some attention. And then I need to get up on the hill because you know, the new fields I put in up there, we just want to make sure they're not being overwhelmed with weeds. I sprayed them real good, and might ride up there one day and take you with me with the camera to kind of see what's going on. I haven't been up there in a couple of weeks, but anyway, the west field, we cut our low ground over there this morning, and somehow I think I'm gonna bale that hay on one day and bale this on the next day to make it a little more manageable. And so anyway, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. The grass looks great. I think the grass looks absolutely, I mean, what's not to like about that? I'm glad I cut it. 1977 Massey Ferguson 1105, Krone 2801cv, impeller, tine, conditioner, disc mower, and delivering the mail one more time here on the farm. We'll talk to you later.